2v2 on Rails and Metal. This game is Hurricane and Mozart versus Wanderer and Shadowwada. Wanderer and Shadowwada, friends, they've been playing together for a long time. They've been playing since the open beta Company of Heroes 2, as far as I can remember. So, they've been around. Should be pretty good play from them. And Hurricane and Mozart playing as Axis. We've got mixed allies, by the way, in the north. Soviets and Americans. And they're making a hard push for the right side. Urang to try and make it to the house, but he does not make it. Pioneers get there first. The north side has 3 windows, south side has only 1 window. So the best place from which to force infantry out of this house is, of course, from the south. Pioneers are firing on the riflemen rather than the conscripts. Interesting priority there. Meanwhile, here on the left side, the Kuba wagon and Stern Pioneers are making their way for a very aggressive push towards the fuel. So we will have mixed allies and mixed axis as well. Riflemen moving up into position here on the fuel point are firing on these grenadiers, and we've got conscripts sprinting past an MG42, which is now dangerously exposed and is making a mad dash for this building. The Pioneers inside are falling dangerously low, and the Grenadiers here on retreat also dangerously low. Fortunately, a Kuba wagon moving up actually suppresses this conscript squad to screen that Grenadiers retreat. Nice play with that Kuba wagon, but this building has definitely got way too many squads surrounding it, and I think everything in here might get wiped. Pioneers go down, MG42 will be very soon to follow, and that is the end of those 2 Oster squads. Grenadiers only made it out by a hair. Not off to a great start here from Hurricane. Meanwhile, on the left, Folks Grenadiers are moving up to grab some territory, and the left side has been completely taken by the Axis. And I've always said that double teaming the right side as allies is dangerous, because if you fail, then you really lose map control and your early game advantage is right down the drain. But they have not failed. They managed to wipe 2 squads, take full control of the territory, set up some defensive positions, and now they can rotate towards the center. Conscripts and combat engineers are now moving up to engage various squads here. And they will get suppressed despite being in green cover. Stern Pioneers inflicting heavy damage on those conscripts in red cover, but they retreat just in time. But all of these squads are going to be in danger from these Stern Pioneers if they remain suppressed. Fortunately, the Kuba wagon did pull back, trying to re-engage, but it has to be very careful as it's falling quite low. Meanwhile, the fuel remains largely uncontested, although these riflemen may get suppressed. Maybe, I can't tell if at that angle. It looks like they will, and a grenade just got tossed over here, forcing a retreat from the various other Commando West squads, and the Kuba wagon will disengage as it's got not quite enough health to safely engage that allied infantry. We have Pathfinders being deployed to the left side with rear echelon troops, and they will be able to retake that unless something moves to respawn. Kuba wagon moving up, but it could be dangerous for it to do so. Pathfinders might take it down from the front. Whoa! That was close. Riflemen are holding fast here in the trench, but they will get overwhelmed by Grenadiers and forced to retreat. So the right side fuel will fall, although an M3 with a flamethrower inside is moving up to get very aggressive here, depending on how the Faust goes. May get the squad wipe. Oh no! Retreat! What is he waiting for? Oh. Waited way too long to get out of there, but 2 Panzer Faust, of course, will take the M3 out, and 3 of the 4 combat engineers die, and will be forced to retreat as well. Meanwhile, here on the left side, reconnaissance flight set to go. Riflemen are engaging Folks Grenadiers. We have various stuff engaging this machine gun. and it is being forced to switch windows. It does suppress this one conscript squad, and we don't have Molotov's research from Shadowwada, so the only way he can get this out of here is by just brute forcing it out with small arms fire, which he is successful in doing. The building has fallen so low that he doesn't feel confident leaving his machine gun in there, and he will reposition it, but he has a second machine gun set up to support, and these conscripts have no chance of taking this territory without utilizing Molotov cocktails. Meanwhile, on the left side, most of the territory is getting taken by these Oberkommando West forces. The Kubelwagen desperately needs repairs, though. It will go down if anything so much as just blinks at it. The Stern Pioneers are moving up to do just that. Riflemen moving up on the left side now to try and take some territory. We've also got a 50 cal being para-dropped for these rear echelon troops. Pathfinders moving up to support. Should be able to force everything away, and there they go. Volksgrenadiers all making a full retreat. Stern Pioneers and Kubelwagen will be here to assist, but they probably won't be able to do much against this allied push on their own. And Grenadiers are setting up here on the wrecked M3 to have cover while they take control of the victory point. A flamethrower has been positioned in this house as a heavy mortar is making its way towards the front lines. We also have field infirmary purchased by the Soviet player, and conscripts are going to reinforce and heal up before making their way back to the front, and the heavy mortar will flush those Grenadiers out of cover, and the left side will get taken by the American,
standing by.
while Mozart heals his forces up here, and he does have the forward retreat point unlocked.
Supply half track is ready for orders.
Grenadiers back to full strength.
Victory point getting taken now, and it looks like we will have a new push by the Oberkommando West. Volksgrenadiers moving up into green cover to engage at range. The 50 cal will force them to stay in cover, although it gets suppressed by a volley from the Kubelwagen there. Volksgrenadiers moving up. They leave their position in cover, take one burst, losing one man. They do get back into cover. More Volksgrenadiers here doing what they can as well, and a push on the right side. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, squad wipes everywhere. I don't even know who's talking. Okay, Hurricane is talking. Apparently Hurricane is annoyed that he just got squad wiped, even though he just got one himself with his own rifle grenade. Squads going down left and right, and we have a Schwer Panzer headquarters going up here to try to lay some fire down on this general area, although a flamethrower just caught it setting up. Oh no! Flamethrower doesn't appear to do that much damage to it, even while setting up though. That's kind of weird. And he's actually going to try to damage some of these squads as they're clumped and round in the corner, taking heavy damage, will be forced to retreat. Oh, heavy mortar is also bombarding it, and it still hasn't set up, and so much infantry is on the way to prevent this from happening. It's now brought down to about half. They need to do something to keep it alive. No, and it's been destroyed. Probably should have canceled that when it still had around 75% health. Should have gotten at least a partial refund. Now it doesn't get anything, and that is a lot of resources down the drain. Losing that Schwer Panzer headquarters. Heavy mortar falling on the Pioneers. We've also got Volksgrenadiers moving up to fire on this. Oh, nice play with the Kubelwagen, and the entire blob gets suppressed. And of course, they can easily reinforce and heal out of the battle group headquarters here. And all of that allied infantry will be forced to retreat. There's still a 50 cal and a lieutenant here on the left side trying to make something happen. Volksgrenadiers will get suppressed. There's nothing really anywhere nearby, so no area of effect suppression gets applied, and they will round the corner behind this shack to start taking control of the victory point, and a big flank by these two squads going north to try and take it out. We've also got paratroopers by a beacon, riflemen, and rear echelon troops all making their way to the front lines. Volksgrenadiers take up a position in green cover, but with this machine gun on their flank, they could be in a bit of danger. Nice dodge. Heavy mortar continues to fall. And this rifle squad is falling quite low. LMG Grenadiers firing on the Lieutenant. Oh no, heavy mortar lands perfectly on their head, and they will get wiped on retreat by the various Allied infantry. Meanwhile, 50 cal is firing at the Stern Pioneers at point blank range. They take a huge burst of damage and will be forced to retreat, but all Allied riflemen also have to retreat. Paratroopers moving up to replace them, doing what they can. Rifle grenade connects with the Lieutenant and only inflicts 1 loss as he is in green cover, cutting the damage in half. And the 50 cal is setting up to fire on those Grenadiers, but they round the corner just in time, and rear echelons of paratroopers will be more than enough to force that Grenadier squad to retreat. As for the right side, it remains largely uncontested and undefended. 1 machine gun and some Grens, a little bit of harassment by a 3-man Pioneer squad, and it looks like the Soviet player is going to try to retake it, although he will get strafed and forced to retreat. So that will hold the territory temporarily. Only 60 munitions, so not a bad investment to hold on to that for just a little bit longer. But it is getting cut off by conscripts over here. The machine gun defending is getting bombarded by a heavy mortar, and there it goes. Stern Pioneers move up into close range on these paratroopers, but they're taking heavy damage. Both squads are taking heavy damage. Stern Pioneers are the ones who decide to retreat first. Volksgrenadiers grenade the 50 cal, and will be able to move up to push the left side. S-mine field goes down here on the left as well. We may see some usage of redistribute resources here, as he is spending quite a lot on mines and various abilities, and of course close air support is extremely munitions expensive, and they'll often sacrifice their fuel for that. Wow, that squad just walked straight into the S-mines and the flamethrower gets destroyed. So he actually got a bit of a return on his investment there. Spent 60 on the S-mine field, and then the 60 that his opponent spent on that flamethrower got taken out, so he actually broke even if nothing else happens.
All in with the Panzerschreck.
Squad, gather around him.
But that heavy mortar is definitely problematic. It's wiped 2 squads that I've seen. Has 12 kills. Oh man, these S-mines are just killer. There was another full squad. Is he paying any attention to the fact that there's S-mines on the ground? Just to stop stepping on those. Guards have been fielded. Meanwhile, riflemen moving up, trying to give some support to these paratroopers. A grenade will force the paratrooper squad to retreat, and rear echelon troops move up to make sure they maintain control of the center victory point. And we have another beacon here, a forward retreat point, and a major setup back here, so we're probably going to be seeing some tanks in the very near future. It's currently 13 minutes into the game. I'm actually surprised he hasn't purchased any already. Has 145 fuel, gated only by his manpower. I'm thinking that a tank is probably going to be his next purchase, but he's had to spend a lot of manpower on reinforcement here by his on his infantry. Conscripts are now moving up, and the only thing defending the right side is this lone machine gun, but reinforcements are on the way. Conscripts probably not going to be able to take control of this territory once this force arrives to force them back, especially as this machine gun looks like it's going to be able to move up into position. Nice anti-infantry strafe usage as well to make sure that this push gets completely shut down, and the Axis infantry will move up to completely retake that side. We do have a Sherman in production from Wanderer, and Shadowwada is about 2 command points away from his T-34-85. He's being forced to retreat through S-mine fields, taking heavy casualties, but he does have a minesweeper now, so that 1-man conscript squad actually will survive as he retreats through that S-mine. Good usage of the minesweeper there to clear the way on the conscript squad's retreat, and we have fresh guards being fielded to try and supplement the conscripts here on the front lines. Grenade going out here on the left from paratroopers, but nice dodge by Mozart. The Stern Pioneers are getting into close range on the rear echelon troops, and they'll be forced to retreat. Counter grenade goes off on the paratroopers, but it's not really quite on target, and they will get away without taking any losses, but many of his squads were forced to retreat back to the retreat point here. Meanwhile, we have some harassment all the way over here by some riflemen. Nice play taking that point. Grenade goes off. Lots of grenades being thrown into green cover, and you really should think twice before you throw a grenade into green cover, especially if it's the only engagement happening on the map. Very good chance that your opponent will dodge it, and even if he does not, he will only take half damage, so it's something to think about when you're throwing a grenade at an opponent in green cover. Grenade going off on those grenadiers. Lands pretty well, but only one man goes down. They don't have DP machine guns, and with two of them wielding PTRSs, they're not dealing all that. Okay, now they have DP machine guns. I think the upgrade may have just completed. I don't know. But conscripts moving up to support will force all those grenadiers to retreat. We do have a grenadier squad and 2 MGs defending the territory, however, so the fuel will probably remain in Axis hands. Meanwhile, the push on the left side by the American looks like it's finally breaking through. Volksgrenadiers being forced back as paratroopers advance. And the heavy mortar actually hasn't done much for a while, still only has 12 kills. So the Axis players have definitely been playing around it very cautiously, making sure not to get too close or too clumped anywhere near that heavy mortar. Volksgrenadiers all being forced away by that Vet 2 paratrooper squad, which is at 13 kills and will be Vet 3 very soon. Definitely going to be a very powerful asset to the US Forces player, so he needs to get away from that Schwer Panzer headquarters. And he is successful in doing so, and also nets himself Vet 3 from a little bit of damage that he manages to inflict there. And the Sherman here is now on the field, completes its 50 cal upgrade, does not have HE rounds equipped however. Probably going to switch soon, unless he's planning on making a push for one of the trucks, although such a move would be extremely risky with the Rakettenwerfer in the house and a pack available to support, as well as 2 Panzerschrecks. Sherman is engaged, still has AP rounds equipped, pulling back for repairs. Shadowwada is now at 10 command points, but he does not quite have the manpower for his T-34s. He's taken heavy losses on all of his various squads, guards in particular, and as a result, it's taking him a little while before he's able to call those in. Grenade going off on those Oversoldat, and they'll be forced to retreat. Or on the lieutenant's forced retreat. Repairs continue on the Sherman. It will be fully repaired soon. And we have another Sherman hitting the field here. Meanwhile, on the right side, Grenadiers with LMGs are moving up fire on these guards. And the guards do have DP machine guns, but they're about to get gunned down by the anti-infantry strafe, and they will simply retreat, taking 2 rifle grenades as well. So lots of munitions being spent by Hurricane, but he's got more than enough munitions to spare to keep those abilities coming and keep the right side under his control. 300 in the bank now, and he just called in a Stuka reconnaissance pass here over the American stuff. He might be thinking of throwing down an anti-tank strafe on his opponent's Shermans. Oh, what was that? That Sherman just nailed those paratroopers. Wow. 3 paratroopers just died to an armor-piercing round from the Sherman. It has 0 kills, but 3 kills. No, 2 kills, okay. Friendly fire. Anti-tank strafe does get called in on the ambulance. Nice play. Ambulance will be destroyed, shutting down the ability for the Americans to reinforce in the field. All of these wounded squads now pretty much unable to do anything, and the pack and Rakettenwerfer with Panzerschreck support is more than enough to force these Shermans back for repairs. But T-34-85s have finally hit the field, and they are going to wreak havoc on the right side. There is absolutely nothing that's going to stand in their way. Wow, T-34 takes a serious burst of damage from those packs on its advance. It does manage to retreat to safety before being destroyed. Those packs definitely got a healthy dose of veterancy out of that charge, giving this one access to target weak point.
Reconnaissance flight ready at your disposal.
And things will be rather quiet as tanks in various locations receive repairs, although the Oberkommando West is making yet another push for the left side. The right side remains very lightly defended, and I'm thinking that the T-34-85s could inflict huge casualties over there and get the right side back under control if they were fielded in that direction, considering all of the anti-tank weaponry is still concentrated here on the left, where the Allied paratroopers are still performing quite well. The 18 kills now, and at Vet 3 they will be very difficult to deal with. Sherman still haven't, there we go, finally some rounds being switched on the Shermans here. Heavy damage inflicted on those Volks Grenadiers, and they'll be forced to retreat. And I hear a Stuka bomb strike landing right here. Yes. Nice dodge by the American player, gets all of his forces to safety just in time, and the heavy mortar takes heavy casualties, but it will be able to get reinforced. So he does maintain his Vet 2 bonus on there, and the charge on the left side is going to get shut down by this blob of Obersoldaten. Oh no, and a full squad of riflemen does go down. Grenade going off on those conscripts forces them to retreat. And these conscripts are unable to complete their sandbag fighting position here before being forced away by quite a few LMG Grenadiers, although they're getting dangerously close to these tanks. Could potentially take quite a bit of damage. Meanwhile, back here it looks like some kind of anti-infantry strafe force these paratroopers to retreat. The Shermans have HE rounds equipped now and are moving up to fire on various infantry, and a full squad of Volks Grenadiers just went down. I think that was a Vet 5 squad. That one will be soon to follow, and those Obersoldaten are getting bled hard. Engine is damaged on that Sherman. It will be forced back, but the Axis still maintain control of the center victory point, and these packs are going to make it very dangerous for those tanks to do anything too aggressive. But again, the right side is so lightly defended. The Allies really need to make a push for that. And a Maxim has just been fielded as well. And we're going to be seeing a second set of T-34s in the very near future.
We are as ready as we can be.
Shermans are getting repaired. A new major retreat point has been established. A fresh ambulance has been fielded, and the American player's position is looking decent, but it could certainly be better. Not having control of the right side is really hurting the Allied economy, and it's only going to be a matter of time before heavier Axis armor starts arriving. Of course, Hurricane, as a close air support player, does not have any heavy call-in tanks available to him, and he's converting almost all of his fuel into munitions, so he's probably not even planning on teching to Tier 4 or 3. He hasn't even purchased Battle Phase 2, so he's probably going to remain in Tier 2 for the rest of the game and depend on his teammate for heavy armor support. But Mozart does have 240 fuel in the bank right now, as well as 740 manpower. I'm almost thinking that he's going straight to Jagdtiger, which is an interesting choice against T-34-85s. I think the Jagdtiger is quite vulnerable to being swarmed by medium armor in conjunction with a marked vehicle. I would encourage him to get a Panther or two, perhaps in conjunction with a Jagdpanzer. But it looks like he's just going to go straight for the Jagdtiger. I don't know.
Enemy movement! On the break!
Sturm Pioneers just hit Vet 5. So they're definitely going to be very potent, but the Allied charge on the left side is inflicting huge losses. They managed to steal a pack and move that back to their front line. Anti-tank strafe is a little bit off target, doesn't do all that much damage to the Sherman there. Full Grenadier squad nearly going down, but it looks like it will survive as the Sherman has to pull back to safety under pack fire. In fact, that Sherman could go down, but it does make its way back into the fog of war, and this pack has to reposition to safety in front of those LMG paratroopers and Maxim making their way forward. Allies grabbing the center victory point with a squad of conscripts. Meanwhile, the T-34s are still in very strong condition and could continue to push. We have a Stuka bomb strike getting called in somewhere on the point, whiting it. But other than that, inflicting no losses. The stolen pack is going to become a pretty serious threat to the Schwer Panzer headquarters, so they will have no choice but to continue pushing in this direction to screen the Allied advance. However, on the right side, the Oster player continues to harass the Allied territory since they absolutely refuse to counterattack on the right. And he's free to take territory all the way up to the strategic points outside their base, and if allowed to continue in this way, he's actually going to cut them off by grabbing the strategic point here. Of course, overextending too much with that squad of grenadiers could expose them to being wiped on retreat by all of these medium tanks. Packs are moving up to engage. They get 2 shots off on the T-34s there. Mass grenades going off on that Maxim will wipe it. Counter grenade going off on the suppressed squad of Volksgrenadiers nearly wipes them, but he retreats just barely in the nick of time. Sherman receiving repairs in the back. That one has 9 kills, this one has 5 kills. And the stolen pack has to pull back to the ambulance for repairs and reinforcement. Meanwhile, the packs are getting very aggressive, moving way up here onto the center victory point to try and shut down any counterattack by Allied tanks, but the tanks are in fact making their way towards this overextended squad of grenadiers, but the way they're pathing right now leads me to think they're probably not going to get wiped on retreat. And a Scot just got fielded. Interesting choice. We've also got some squads reinforcing here in the Soviet base. The center victory point will get taken by these packs, and the T-34-85s are making their way across the left. But they can't get too aggressive because of the placement of the anti-tank guns. Meanwhile, here on the far left, grenades being thrown. Kettenwerfer gets wiped. Sherman moving up to assist, and that Stern Pioneer squad is falling very low, but that anti-infantry strafe is perfectly placed to shut down that Allied push. Anti-tank strafe also coming in, deals about half of that Sherman's bar, and a few casualties in 1 airborne squad. Everything has been forced away. Hurricane still has 500 munitions, however. And just imagine if he had used all 4 abilities in conjunction. Anti-infantry strafe, anti-tank strafe, recon pass, and then Stuka bombing run right on the Major's retreat point. That could have been quite a headache for the Allied player to deal with. You really see the potential that this doctrine can have, especially when you have massive amounts of munitions thanks to redistribute resources at your disposal.
Paratroopers ready for action. 300 points remaining.
Sniper moving up to fire on these grenadiers. Interesting purchase. Late game sniper. He is definitely going to hurt his ability to field. Where's that landing? Ooh. It just landed right on that T-34. I'm surprised it didn't do more damage. The combat engineers did make it to safety, fortunately, and the heavy mortar is actually now up to Vet 3. Rear echelon troops are going to grab the victory point, and I was right, he went straight for Jagdtiger. I don't see any Allied armor anywhere in the vicinity, so it won't be able to participate in this engagement. Rifle grenade goes out. Various LMG fire from all these grenadiers is enough to force those infantry to retreat, and we finally have some harassment of the right side by these conscripts. I'm surprised that this didn't happen earlier. And the Axis will finally be forced to send some squads to deal with this. We've had these 2 machine guns sitting pretty much AFK for this entire time, defending just the fuel, not really defending the victory point. Heavy mortar has also been set up in the area somewhere. There it is. And it is bombarding various units. On the left, conscripts are moving up to take control of the center victory point, and the 3 pack guns in the area are all repositioning back a little bit to get to a slightly more comfortable position. And the conscripts that were trying to harass the right side will get forced away by this machine gun. And the sniper here is moving up to fire on the various infantry, takes out one of the Vet 5 Stern Pioneers. Tanks are all being very careful because they know that there are 3 anti-tank guns in the area, not to mention Field Commander West Panzerschrecks. So they cannot get too aggressive or they will go down. And the Jagdtiger shows itself, taking its first shot on that T-34-85 and deals quite a high amount of damage to it there, and they will pull way back as they don't want to get taken out by that Jagdtiger. Meanwhile, a squad of guards is being forced to retreat. A Scot is doing what it can here. The Jagdtiger has not activated the armor-piercing shells, or whatever that acronym means, so it cannot fire through this building at the Scot unless utilizing that ability, which is 90 munitions to activate, and Mozart currently only has 110, so he not really in a position to be utilizing that ability. Bundle grenade goes out from the Obersoldaten on those paratroopers, doesn't really connect, however, and they will continue their advance, and the Scot continues to fire on various infantry as well. Smoke grenade goes out on the stolen Maxim so that the paratroopers will be able to move up Scott is getting some hits off on these infantry, and the heavy mortar in combination with the Scott is enough to force them to retreat. The Jagdtiger is now going to pull back, not wanting to be too exposed, although there's really nothing that these paratroopers can do to it. Of course, if they clear out these packs, it will be quite vulnerable to being swarmed by T-34s. Something happened over here. A plane crashed. I don't know what it was shooting at though. Oh, a Stuka bomb strike just happened too. Doesn't look like that hit anything. I don't know. Looks like it killed a rear echelon troop squad. And the ambulance. Okay. So the Allied forward position does get harassed a little bit there. But the Major did escape, and a fresh ambulance is being fielded, and the 3 paratrooper squads are all still fine, as well as a recovered Maxim. Here on the right side, T-34s are finally being dedicated to fully push on the right and hopefully get some of that territory back under control. Meanwhile, the Jagdtiger continues to fire on various stuff over here. We'll need to get a little bit closer to fire on these tanks. I don't know what, I'm not sure what the holdup is there. It's not really doing anything from its position back here. Wow! Oh, that heavy mortar just nailed both squads, and the LMGs managed to take one of them out on retreat, bringing Mozart down to only 3 squads of infantry remaining. Although they are very high vet squads of infantry, I think he may have now lost a little too much to be able to continue his attack on the left side. As Obersoldaten are forced away by a recovered Maxim, and the right side victory point will be recovered by the T-34s. And like I said before, all it takes is a little bit of pushing on the right side, and suddenly we will see a huge counterattack, relieving a lot of pressure from the left side, relieving a lot of pressure from his teammate, the American player, to continue his advance. Stuka bomb strike falling again. Doesn't do all that much. Takes out a couple paratroopers and one of the major squad members. And meanwhile, the Ostherr is making a huge push up the right side to try and get some of this territory back under control. The T-34s have left the area and are now going to think about what they're going to do next. Conscripts here getting taken out by Obersoldaten, who will be forced to retreat. The Jagdtiger has repositioned a little bit to fire on that Scott. Fortunately, it gets its main gun destroyed, so we'll be able to pull back to safety. Scott is normally one-shotted by the Jagdtiger. Death crits are pretty much the only way that it can survive a shot from that thing. Oh, Sherman takes a huge hit from the Jagdtiger there. It's just sitting there. It's gonna go down, I think, if the Jagdtiger shoots again. Maybe it doesn't have vision in the fog of war. I'm not sure how he saw it the first time. Okay. Cannot see it. If he were to utilize attack ground, he could probably destroy that. Or a recon pass. But it is pulling back even further to safety as his infantry forces are really hurting. And he's actually going to field a Stuka with his next 100 fuel, so that he will be able to take on the Allied team weapons and possibly also blobs of infantry. Engine damage on this T-34 from a Panzerfaust. They will continue firing on various infantry formations here on the right side, and a lot of Ostherr support is arriving. The 2 machine guns from the right have been redeployed to the left side to assist. 2 pack guns, however, are still facing towards this area should the T-34s choose to push straight through that area. And paratroopers here on the victory point are taking a bit of damage, but they're inflicting heavy damage on the infantry charging them. One squad is forced to retreat, the other squad is suppressed, and the Sturm Pioneers are going to be able to force them away. The 3rd squad of paratroopers trying to finish them off will force them to retreat as well, and the Allies maintain control of the central victory point. The Jagdtiger hasn't really done much. Anti-tank strafe coming in over here is not really on target. Very light damage inflicted on that Scott, but this Sherman is in a lot of danger. The Jagdtiger is firing. Oh, it missed. Get that thing out of there. I think it was auto-firing. No, it's using attack ground with the Sherman as repositioned, so that will be able to escape. It's going to be very important that the Axis maintain vision control of the Allied tanks, or the Jagdtiger will not be able to really actively participate, and once the Allies have obtained a critical mass of medium armor, they'll be able to swarm it and destroy it. 4 T-34s with Sherman support will probably be enough. Throwing a Jackson into the mix certainly also helps. Sniper deploys a flare to give vision of the central victory points. The Allies certainly see the value of vision control. We have a lot of squads making their way forward. Sturm Pioneers are going to try to capture it despite being under maximum fire. We also have the Jagdtiger moving up to screen enemy tanks. And actually nails one of the maximum members, apparently. Heavy mortar is falling in the center. Does not feel comfortable trying to take that with those Sturm Pioneers. We do have an anti-infantry strafe coming in on all this stuff, though. And we'll pin down the Maxim. Meanwhile, on the right side, Grenadiers will engage some combat engineers. And they're firing a rifle grenade. I don't know if he's watching this. No, he notices just in the nick of time. And the squad will make it away. Meanwhile, the Stuka just hit the field, and it is firing now. Pretty good opening barrage on those team weapons. Only 3 kills though, unfortunately. Oh, huge push on the Jagdtiger. We have a P-47 strafe coming in. T-34 rams it at the very beginning of the engagement, but luckily he does damage its engine. P-47 is firing now, dealing heavy damage, bringing it just below half health. Second T-34 is about to be destroyed though, and the Shermans are nowhere to be found. Oh, there's one. A Stuka bomb strike just got called in right there, but it doesn't hit anything. And this Sherman still has high explosive rounds equipped, which means that there's no way for it to damage this thing. However, with its damaged engine, it has no chance of getting out of the P-47 strike zone, and it will be destroyed. So the Allies had to throw 2 Shermans and 2 T-34s away. But thanks to their air support and the lucky engine crit from the initial T-34 ram, it will go down, and that has just been massive carnage. Puts on both sides, bringing the Overcommando West player down to only his Stuka, which, by the way, he should get out of the P-47 strike zone. Like right now. Get it out of the strike zone. You've only got 4 units, how hard can it be to realize that this is happening? Okay, there it goes. Bring him to only a Stuka, 2 Volksgrenadier squads, and his Sturm Pioneers. At the very least, he will be able to recover a Panzerschreck, and that might be the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Sniper is forced to retreat up here. Ooh, Maxim gets decrewed. Grenade going out! Nice grenade! Wipes a Vet 3 LMG squad. The Oster player is certainly in a much healthier position than his teammate, but it's important to remember that as close air support, he has no armor. No armor on the way at all. That being said, Mozart has 200 fuel in the bank after purchasing a Jagdtiger and Stuka. He could honestly go for a second Jagdtiger in 3 minutes if he chose to. Not sure what he's going to choose to do though. It's going to be very important that he think carefully about how to spend his fuel from this point forward. Losing a Jagdtiger is a decent sign that you're going to lose your second one if you get a second one. So he might consider a Panther, might consider a King Tiger. But whatever it is, he's going to have to utilize it to its maximum effectiveness. Sherman and paratroopers on the left side are sufficient to force away what little infantry Mozart has, and they will take control of the left side victory point. Once again, the victory points are dead, even both teams having about 200. And a fresh set of T-34-85s has been fielded, and Shadowwada actually has the fuel for another set after that. Now that the Jagdtiger is off the field, they will have total freedom with their medium armor to inflict as much damage as possible. In fact, they should try to seize this window of opportunity to take out that Stuka, if at all possible.
You see, anything can be destroyed. You just have to be smart coming out. Enemy infantry!
How's the heavy mortar doing? Wow, 45 kills. 45 kills on that one heavy mortar. He has definitely gotten a huge return on that investment. His sniper has 16, so it's actually also performing quite well considering how much later it hit the field. Apparently this squad of guards has 14 too, although I guess it's been on the field for a really long time, so that's actually not that impressive. Anti-infantry strafe coming in on the Maxim will force that, well, maybe. There's not really anything to follow up, so it'll probably just get unpinned here soon. Meanwhile, the T-34s on the right side want to push, but there's 2 AT guns in the way. It's making it rather dangerous. And a Panzerschreck squad, so quite a bit of anti-tank still available from the Austere player. I'm surprised we don't see a big allied armor push on the left side to take out the Stuka, possibly some of these trucks, which they could definitely do now that this packs are pushing so aggressively on the right side. Sniper flare going off in the area will give vision of all of the various weapons here. Grenade going out on the pack. And while they're repositioning, the T-34s take the opportunity to charge into close range. The heavy mortar is also falling in the area, making it a very dangerous zone. 2 Panzerschrecks, however, moving up to assist, and one of the T-34s will go down. The heavy mortar does decrew one of the packs, but it gets recrewed by Grenadiers in the area. And a Sherman is supporting here in the center with HE rounds to try and push these Volksgrenadiers away, and since they're not vetted, they're actually still quite vulnerable. And the heavy mortar will continue to fire. Grenade goes out on the Maxim, but the Volksgrenadiers will retreat regardless. Meanwhile, here on the right side, Grenadiers are moving up to take territory, harassing very hard. Hurricane has been very good about harassment this game, constantly being a pain in the Allies. Territory, taking the strategic points all the way up here into the Allied base, although there has been a cache constructed on this one, and a T-34 is being fielded to counter-harass now. Stupid bomb strike falling somewhere. Oh no! That was perfect! That American player was not paying attention to where that sound was, and he loses a recovered machine gun. Looks like that was a Maxim. And a full squad of paratroopers with LMGs. Nice bomb strike. If you keep dropping them all game long, eventually your opponent's bound to make a mistake. That was the lucky break that they were hoping for. And look at this. A fresh Jagdtiger has hit the field. I don't know if this one's going to do better than the last one, but we'll see. As for the Allies, they only have 1 T-34 instead of 2 this time. They still have access to the P-47, but there's only 1 T-34 and 2 Shermans, so they don't have quite the armor reserves they did before to take it out. That being said, Shadowwada has 470 fuel, could definitely field a fresh set, and with 3 T-34s, they could probably take it on. It's all going to come down to whether these mines get hit and the positioning of various supporting anti-tank weaponry. Stuka barrage going off way in the back. Wow, he just got a lot of kills. 18 kills. What did he take out? Looks like he nabbed the machine gun. A full Maxim squad. Took out plenty of stuff there. Meanwhile, on the right side, the T-34. Oh no, what is he doing? Pay attention! Full squad of Grenadiers gets wiped again. And you can tell how many of his squads are fresh because he has almost no veterancy left, except for this squad right here, which is also falling low. But he has destroyed the engine. Oh no! Okay. Oh, the PTRS wipes another one! Nice grenade, but he was really quite lucky that the PTRS of all weapons smashed that Grenadier right in the chest, finished him off. So many Grenadier squad wipes. No LMGs left, no veterans left, just plain old Grenadiers. 43 minutes into the game, you really want something with a little more, packs a little bit more punch. He does have this vet-free squad of Panzer Grenadiers, fortunately. And this mine has been permanently revealed by minesweepers. Fortunately, this one has not been spotted yet. You're really going to need the T-34s to hit that on the next big push. Shadowwada has accumulated the resources he needs to call in a fresh set. Some various planes getting called in here on the right side, force full retreat from these infantry, but the T-34s are hitting the field now. And wow, he lost his second one too? I don't know what even happened to that one. Oh yeah, it hit that mine and exploded. Of course I know what happened to that one. Okay, so he does have 2 T-34s now. Two T-34s, 2 Shermans. That was enough to take out a Jagdtiger last time. If it'll be enough to take out a Jagdtiger the second time, I guess we'll find out. This pack has not been crewed. These 2 packs are still tied up here on the right side, so if they go in hard while the Axis are not quite ready, that would definitely help. And forcing a full retreat from supporting anti-tank squad will definitely also help. And stealing a Panzerschreck, definitely turning the tide in their favor. Meanwhile, Oberkommando West player has 2 Panzerschrecks to support and is getting himself some fresh Obersoldaten now. Those T-34s really need to stop diving straight into those 2 packs, though. He's not doing himself any favors with that. This one's already Vet 3, and he's got a fresh set of Panzerschrecks on this squad as well.
Reconnaissance Stuka, fueled and ready to fly.
Stuka is firing on this machine gun, instantly destroying it. A little bit of damage on this Vet 3 paratrooper squad as well. Meanwhile, these Pathfinders are taking heavy damage from the Vet 5 Sturmpyos. 50 cal will suffer the same fate. Both squads forced to retreat, and it looks like the major retreat point has been sent all the way back to this strategic point right outside the base, because the close air support's harassment of his retreat point has just forced him to move it further and further back. Recon run will reveal his retreat point temporarily, but it looks like he did not call in any abilities on what was sitting back here. So the American player will have some time to heal up. Meanwhile, the Jagdtiger doesn't look like it's really done anything yet. Hasn't even inflicted any damage yet. It's been on the field forever. He really needs to utilize this thing more aggressively. If he just sits at AFK in the back and waits for the allies to swarm it with medium armor, he's gonna get taken out by superior numbers. He needs to use it aggressively, move it up, and take out allied tanks from range to make sure that they can't build up a critical mass. Shermans are advancing across the left side now. Paratroopers moving up to screen. There's not anything giving vision. Here we go. Jagdtiger lands a huge shot on the Sherman leading the charge. The Volksgrenadiers on the left side will be forced to retreat. Meanwhile, the engagement happening here. Oh no! Full squad of Volksgrenadiers goes down. Jagdtiger takes a second shot at that Sherman and it'll be forced back, but it doesn't get any any actual tanks destroyed, and almost both squads of Volksgrenadiers will be wiped in that series of engagements. Grenade going out on the MG-34, almost wipes it. Wow, huge damage on the T-34, making a push, but a P-47 does get called in. The T-34 here will manage to sneak around behind and block the Jagdtiger's movement. It is now a sitting duck, unless it faces through the T-34, apparently. So that just happened. Wow, one of the P-47s just got shot down, though, which means that the total damage output of that ability is going to be cut in half, and those Shermans just went straight in front of both packs and two Panzer Grenadier squads. There's no chance of this push happening. All of the Allied tanks will get destroyed, and the Jagdtiger barely even has a scratch. Nice play by these Panzer Grenadiers and packs moving up to support the Jagdtiger at the critical moment. The Allies didn't really have any infantry moving up to support during this push to take out critical anti-tank weapons. Didn't bring the sniper, and the heavy mortar is gone apparently, so that push could be the end of the Allies in this game. They just lost all of their armor. The Jagdtiger didn't even really do anything this game at all until the Allies suicided all of their tanks into it, so really its primary function in this game has been as bait.
Fighting has lowered the enemy down to 200 points.
Panzer Grenadiers are firing and take out a full squad. The Soviet player now on his last legs. There's only 3 squads remaining. Sniper guards and conscripts. The Wanderers infantry forces are still looking quite healthy, but, well, not really. He's only got 1 Vet 3 squad remaining. Compared to Hurricane, who actually definitely is outpacing him for infantry, so the Oberkommando West player is pulling ahead, and we're going to have a very fun combination of vehicles from him soon. A Stuka, a Jagdtiger, and a Sturmtiger is now about to hit the field. So, not looking too good for the Allies. That is not a fun combo of vehicles to be up against. A fresh set of T-34s has been fielded, and it's making its way up the right side, forcing away that Panzer Grenadier squad, and they're going to try to get some territory back here from on the right, which is pretty much undefended. The Jagdtiger is available to support, does not currently have the munitions to activate the building piercing rounds, however. And the Sturmtiger is on the field, making its way to the front lines. Meanwhile, the packs are well positioned to counter this push by the T-34s, and they just can't seem to get rid of these things. As guard motor
Stuka straight.
and
Mark
airborne,
every
one of the biggest weaknesses this combination has is a complete lack of indirect fire, except for the heavy mortar, of course, but they don't have anything super long range or off map, like a priest or incendiary artillery. Stuka barrage coming down here, and these allied infantry will retreat. It does take out 2 guards.
Enemy forces are
Meanwhile, these
securing our
infantry are moving
territory.
in to try to take control of some victory points. The victory points continue to be dead even, 150 for both sides. And I know I said that Soviet players on his last legs, but oh, there's the first Sturmtiger shot, and it wipes a paratrooper squad with LMGs. Fortunately, that was not the vetted squad, but if it keeps on whittling away at the American forces like that, squad wipe every minute, it's definitely going to be GG. They need to get that thing off the field, but that's going to be a tall order with a Jagdtiger defending, and the Oster player has done such a good job with his Paks and Panzer Grenadiers defending that thing that I don't know how the Allies are going to take it out. P-47 plus Mark vehicle, of course, will get the job about half done, but they really need to swarm it with just huge quantities of medium armor to even stand a chance. And I think Shadowwada realizes this and is currently not even risking his T-34s in the field. He's just going to wait until he's got the resources for his second set, and then when he's got 4 T-34s, maybe his teammate has some tanks to supplement as well, they'll be able to make a big push for that Jagdtiger. But until then, it's just a matter of holding on and making sure those victory points don't run out. This bomb strike just landed somewhere. I don't know where that landed, but it just wiped a squad, apparently. I have no idea where that was aimed. I don't know what got wiped either. He still got his Vet 3 paratroopers. So something died. I don't know what it was though. I missed it. Stuka firing. The Sturmtiger has also been reloaded. Stuka is coming down on the sniper. Oh! But it does survive, just barely. If it had been a little bit closer, that would have gotten taken out. Meanwhile, the T-34s deal huge damage to those 2 Gren squads and force a retreat, although one does suffer some engine damage, but Shadowwada is now only a few seconds away from his next set of T-34s. It looks like we are going to see a hugely aggressive push by these Paks right now. If he overextends and loses those, that's probably going to be the beginning of a huge comeback by the Allies as 4 T-34s storm through their lines, but again, it's going to come down to how well he can use those before that happens. It looks like he decided he was overextending a little bit and is going to pull himself back to safety. Meanwhile, these 3 Panzerschreck squads are doing huge damage to that T-34, and he really needs to be keeping those in good condition for his next push. He's now going to be forced off the field to make repairs for a long time. But that being said, a full squad of Panzer Grenadiers just got wiped by these airborne and sniper.
Crowds are sniffing around our asses.
And that is exactly the kind of thing that the Axis need not to happen as they try to finish this game. They do have their opponents triple capped, and finally the clock will start ticking against them really quite quickly now, and they may be able to secure a victory point lead before that second set of T-34s arrives, but here it is. Some repairs need to continue on this. T-34 on the right side is dead. Apparently a T-34 went down. I must have missed it. I don't know what happened. But now he's only got 3, which is definitely a problem. He needs to have 4. Especially if his teammate is spending all of his manpower on paratroopers. He doesn't have any tanks to help take out any of these priority targets. They need the Stuka to die. They need the Sturmtiger to die. They need the Jagdtiger to die. And they've only got 3 T-34s with which to make that happen, and that's definitely not going to be easy with 2 Paks, one of which is Vet 3, and a mountain of Panzerschrecks in their way.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
The one remaining Vet 3 squad of guards makes its way up to the strategic point. We've got some paratroopers trying to take control of center VP, but all that Jagdtiger has to do is sit here AFK, and not a single allied squad is going to dare enter that capture circle. Squad of paratroopers will be forced to retreat. This squad is contending with the paratroopers here. It is moving up around the side. Looks like he's trying to find an opportunity, but all the squads are retreating. Can't find anything he wants to shoot at. May choose to go with a machine gun, or maybe he'll just drive through the area. force his opponent to continue dancing around and dodging. Here it goes. It will cancel its shot, however, and the T-34s are going to take this opportunity to go in on it. It is way overextended, and it's having trouble pathing around this machine gun, which is behind it. P-47 strike is going to get called in. The Jagdtiger is way over here, should be able to get a shot off soon. The T-34s may have already brought it low enough to take it out with just the P-47, but unfortunately, one of the planes targeted, the Jagdtiger, and then crashed on the Schwerpanzer headquarters, taking it down to about half. The T-34s decide they can't push too hard, and they're probably right. The two packs have already made their way over here to support. The Panzerschreck squads are on their way to support as well. They were satisfied with the amount of damage they did get off on that Sturmtiger and will pull back to safety, as they really need to think very carefully about all their maneuvers. He's probably not going to get another set of T-34s this game, and he needs to make this set count to the maximum possible potential. P-47 strike doesn't do much of anything, and will get shot down right on top of that major retreat point. But it doesn't look like it took anything out. It did a little bit of damage to the ambulance, but other than that, it is fine. T-34s catch some overextended squads of Grenadiers, force a full retreat there. The packs have moved back to the right side, kind of sensing that his opponent might be pushing them right. T-34s, however, are backing away, and I think he's not totally sure what he wants to do with these tanks yet, and he's going to wait for his opponent to make some sort of critical error. That being said, Allies are now down to only 50 points remaining, and they must take a victory point to stop the clock, get things under control. Harassment of the right side is failing, as an anti-infantry strafe will pin down what few squads he has left. Rifle grenade doesn't really do much of anything, and a Stuka just went off in this area, forcing a retreat from those paratroopers. Oh! Very nearly wiping both of those squads. If he had angled that just a little more sharply, he probably could have wiped both of those. That could have been GG right there. Now he has to spend a ton of manpower reinforcing those, yet slowing their advance. Meanwhile, the left side victory point will fall, and if the Allies don't do something amazing with these three tanks, this is going to be the end of the game. I think Shadowwada realizes that. He's fully repaired everything. He's poised to make a push. He's just going to wait for his teammates, paratroopers, to reinforce up, and then he has no choice but to go super hard. He does have harassing conscripts here on the right side VP. The Jagdtiger will be defending the center VP. The Sturmtiger's reloaded and is making its way to the front lines. The Stuka will be available to fire in just 20 seconds. The Allies have a lot to deal with and very little time. 29 points remaining. They must do something now. T-34 is making their way up the left side. LMG paratroopers will be sufficient to force a lot of infantry away, but the Sturmtiger is moving up to fire, and I don't know if he's noticed this. No! Oh, there it is, but actually does not lose any full squads, but will force the retreat. The clock remains ticking, but he has taken the right side of these conscripts, and a huge blob of infantry is now moving up to force him away. Unlikely that he's going to be able to hold on to that point, but it does mean that they are not available to support here on the left. If the T-34s can make something happen while those infantry are tied up on the right side, it may be possible to pull this game out, but they need to do something now. His squad of conscripts just got wiped as he was not paying attention, but his T-34s are going to make a play, but there is a Vet 3 pack pointed straight at them. Another pack available to respond, as the route he's taken is extremely dangerous. He will catch the Sturmtiger reloading, and he is dazing that Sturmtiger. He has marked vehicle active on it, and a huge amount of damage coming in. P-47 strike also being... No? Anti-tank strafe being deployed. The anti-tank strafe will destroy one T-34 and bring the other one to about half. The enemy has only 5 points, though. The Allies desperately trying to get territory under control. The Jagdtiger has gone down, but it doesn't matter. They just don't have enough. The victory points have run out, and despite taking out the Jagdtiger and Sturmtiger, the Axis wins. Quite a slugfest. I hope you enjoyed the game. Please send me your replays. I'm happy to do a cast for you. GG.